Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome back to Adam's Fishing. It is a glorious day to be out fishing today. First day of July and a bit of a social one this one. My mate Tom from work has been asking to come out carp fishing for a while. He's never done any real fishing before, so this will be his first proper fishing experience and definitely his first carp fishing experience. My plan was to get us down to the lake where I fished last time I posted a video on here, but unfortunately the carp gods decided otherwise and the carp are spawning on that lake as we speak, so not to be fished at the moment and totally understandable. For that reason I've come to a different lake where the fish aren't spawning. It's a very different type of water. You will have seen it in some of my videos previously if you've watched any of the previous ones. It's quite a heavily water, I should say well stocked water, with smaller carp overall. But they do go up to double figures in here, so there's always a chance of a decent one, I suppose. So I've got my gear ready. I'm in the car park, and I'm just waiting for Tom to turn up, and then we'll get ourselves down to the lake. Magic. Okay guys, well I haven't filmed loads and loads of the setup because I've been busy really getting Tom's rods rigged up. He's borrowed a couple of rods from our mate James, and I think we're now just about at the stage where we're ready to put some bait in the water and cast out and sit back and see if we can catch one. I'm really excited for Tom to catch his first carp, so let's hope that it happens. What about this one? Same process as the carp. You want a bit more drop on that. So yeah, to do that you can just do a free runner thing. Do you hold it with two fingers? No, I can hold it with one, just like my trigger finger, on the trigger. On the rod, yeah, finger against the rod. And then this one, don't get far out, mate. Probably only off the rod length out. So you could do it another underarm split, or you could try an overarm one. Try an overarm one. Oh no, you don't. Not for a cast like this, you won't. I mean, you're only going to go just that far. Right. So yeah, check there's nothing behind you. I've got nothing else to do, right? It's just literally click and let go. You need to put bail armor. Yeah. You're ready. That's it, right? Uh-huh. How far am I in? There's actually a fish right by where you find that thing. I don't really want that right now. Yeah. Oh, he's only got a cast one! Yeah, that's probably a bit too far. A bit right. Yeah, and that's right in my as well. But you get the idea. So yeah, stick the bail on back on and reel that one back in. Oh, no. Yeah, that is exactly where it went the first time. So that's what we want. Okay? Alright. That's what I'm going to do. Prepare, put some bait exactly there where you just cast. Got to leave a rod there. Just remember what you did. guys, well, we're finally fishing, which is great. I did say I was using these things, so it's one of my snowman rigs, which is some coated braid, stripped at the end, the longish hair to accommodate this snowman bait, and of course I've just slid down the hook link a little PVA bag of very fine crumb and active stick mix in the krill flavour. Glugged the whole lot, and Tom's got 2 of those cast out into the lake as we speak. That looked like a bite. Tom's got 1 flicked under a tree to his left hand side and 1 just out in front of him, just a couple of rod lengths. And likewise, I've got 1 just out in front of me, a couple of rod lengths, and I've got 1 underneath an overhanging tree behind me there. Put a little bit of bait out, not a lot, just a handful or 2 to try and tempt a bite. I've actually just had a take of sorts, which didn't come to anything, unfortunately. Bobbin pulled right up tight, little bit of line was taken, and then nothing else. So I've reeled that rod back in, and I need to get it back in the water. But I think we've got a good chance today. Well guys, lucky me, it was my rod that went first, and this was on the rod, fished out into open water actually. 9.5 pounds of lovely mirror carp. Brilliant to get a bend in the rod, and have some action so quickly is a really good sign. Only been fishing properly for about 20-30 minutes, something like that, so really good to get off the mark. I'm going to slip this one back and see if we can't catch Tom 1 or 2. Brilliant. He went back tight and fit. Hello. After slipping back that first fish, it wasn't long before one of Tom's rods was away. I'm not quite sure he knew what was happening to start with, but when he lifted into the fish, I could tell he knew one was on. And a shortish battle with the fish. He did really well at the sort of like keeping a tight line and not letting any slack happen, and got the fish to the net like a pro. We weighed it because it's his first carp, and it was about 5.5 pounds, maybe a little bit more than 5.5 pounds. And I got a photograph or 2, and I'll put them in the video here for you guys to see. But really, really pleased that he managed to get his first fish. And it's only early, it's only 4:10, so there's time for more, for sure. Just something to share with you. After catching that first fish, I wanted to show you the hook. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this properly. Don't think I can quite get the focus that I'm looking for, but basically I just looked at the hook like I do after any fish, and sure enough the hook point is turned over, it's turned outwards, and that hook wouldn't hook another fish, I don't think. So it goes to show it's always worth checking a hook before just rechucking the same rig, because this one is going to be consigned to the dustbin, I'm afraid. But I've got a few more in my bag, so I'm ready for some action. guys, it never rains but it pours. Like buses, 3 came along at once, literally 3. I had this fish, which is the biggest of the 3, at just over £10, probably about £10 4 ounces this one. Really pleased with this little brute. That was followed up by a slightly smaller fish, looks similar, and then whilst I was resting a rod in the margins, waiting to photograph these, it ripped on again. It was a lovely scaly fish, like a fully plated almost, little mirror. Beautiful fish, got a photo of him and the other one, and I'll put those photos in the video. But for now, this was the biggest of the 3. Time to get this fish back in the water. Absolute magic. Well guys, just to bring you up to speed, after putting back my 4th fish, Tom hooked one and we landed it, and I've got a photo of that to put in the video here too. It was a slightly bigger fish, just over £6, so his biggest carp yet, a new PB. I expect we'll get a few of those today. And on his recast, he very quickly caught another fish as well, which was a really tiny common, but a very nice fish all the same. So he's caught 3 now, and I've caught 4. I haven't got my rods back in the water yet, as you can see. I've just been helping to sort things out and take a couple of photos for Tom, but now I'm going to get my rods back in the water and see if I can catch another one. Well guys, there we go, fish number 5 for me of this session. Tom's had 4. What a brilliant session it's been. This is probably the better looking of the bunch for me. Proper carpy looking mirror, nice colours on it, not that many scales, but a pretty fish all the same. I'm going to slip this one back. There might even be time for another one. Well guys, fish number 6 for me. This is rather classic looking common. Probably only about £6, but a lovely fish all the same. It's been a brilliant session, 10 fish in total. Tom's had 4 so far, and we're working on catching him number 5. It's been a really great session. Let's pop this fish back where she belongs. Okay guys, well what a way to finish. 10.5 pounds, maybe a little bit more, of chunky mirror carp. Absolutely brilliant. Probably going to be the last fish of the session. In all, I think we've had 11 fish, and that's really good going on a short session. So great introduction to carp fishing for Tom, I think. Great session for me, even for a few hours. I'm going to slip this beauty back where she belongs and start getting the stuff packed up. If you watched, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.